Greetings, fellow men. Servus Männer. This is Redfield, Germany again. So it has already been discussed at great length that women are intrinsically left or socialist leaning. And I don't want to repeat all that stuff. I mean, Stefan Molyneux made a great video about that, and there have been many other studies in the mainstream media and in the scientific community looking at this fact. So I'm just gonna take this as a given and proceed from here. So I'm gonna speak in generalizations here. So I know that there are outliers, I know there are exceptions, but I'm not interested in that at the moment. I just want to speak at the broad trends and at general truths. So the model is, of course, that men are the producers. Men extract resources from the environment, and women attach themselves to a man in order to extract resources out of that man. And in modern times, with feminism and socialism, we actually see that women who would never find a man or never be able to keep that man can now, by means of the government, extract money from all men collectively through the redistribution of wealth and income. So you're probably all familiar with these Nolan charts that basically show the different social and political camps in terms of high or low economic or social control. So you end up with these quadrants being authoritarian, libertarian, and then conservative and liberal. So for this talk, I actually want to concentrate on the economic axis. So when I talk about left and right for today, I really mean right as economic freedom. And I mean economically left, meaning a socialistic economy and massive redistribution of wealth and income. So I'm focusing on the economic axis in this vector space. So on a conceptual level, on a qualitative level, it should really make sense that people who have the ability to produce would actually be in favor of economic freedom, because then they can keep more of what they're able to produce. However, people who are not able to produce or not willing to produce would of course be in favor of redistribution of income and wealth, because they are dependent on others to take care of them. So I think this is the fundamental reason why women end up, of course, in the socialist corner of the Nolan chart, and men predominantly end up in the right-winged corner of the Nolan chart. So I would propose that a healthy man is inherently right-winged in an economic sense, because it is only natural that you want to keep what you earned and that you want to have the highest price on the market for a good that you sell, meaning your labor. And heavy taxation and redistribution is, in its net effect, just a decrease of your labor. It makes your work time, the time that you sacrifice for going to work, just that much less valuable on the market. So I'm not talking about people who are born with a disability or who are in a wheelchair, who cannot provide for themselves. Those are the deserving poor who, by no fault of their own, end up being needy and dependent on transferred income. I'm not talking about those people, but we see a lot of young men these days who actually think that society owes them a living. There are many young mangina men who campaign for the basic income, for example, or like we say in Germany, the bedingungsloses Grundeinkommen, which literally means it's a basic income without any requirements to be fulfilled. So everyone gets it no matter what. And when I see a young, able-bodied, healthy man campaigning for these socialist programs, I just get sick in my stomach, actually. How can anyone respect such a man? I mean, if you're a minimalist and you live in a tiny apartment and play computer games all day long, that's fine with me. And I mean, as long as you work 30 hours a week and pay for your own rent and your own food, I don't care. I don't mind if someone is a minimalist. To a certain degree, I'm a minimalist myself. However, if you want to put your hands into my wallet, then this changes the situation completely. And now I will even go a step further. I would say not only are men intrinsically right-winged, I would say that a MGTOW must be right-winged. Yeah, I said it, and I mean it in an economic way. a MGTOW must be in favor of less transfer of income. Because what is the main motivation of many MGTOWs? The main motivation to go MGTOW would be that you don't want to sacrifice your life for another person or for society. You want to be your own man. You want to keep what you earn. I mean, do you hear Vincent MGTOW talk for hours about how he wants to take care of single mothers? Do you hear Sandman talking about how he wants to take care of these poor liberal arts majors who took too many student loans when they were young? I mean, he's a liberal arts major himself, but he's a businessman. I mean, he is basically an entrepreneur and he pays his own bills. So there is nothing inherently wrong with being a liberal arts major. It just seems that many of them actually study whatever bullshit they like and then they expect the taxpayer to subsidize them until the end of days. And I really don't want to shame anybody now. I don't want to say man up or anything like that, or you're not a real man, you're not a real MGTOW. I'm not saying that, but I'm really just curious about these things because I think a MGTOW must actually be, economically speaking, right-winged. And if you're not, if you're a MGTOW and you're in favor of socialist programs, then please, I mean, tell me why in the comment section or message me. I would actually be interested in that because if you don't want to take care of single moms, if you don't want to take care of a wife or pay an ex-wife alimony, then you must think that your money is yours. And when you think your money is yours and you don't even want to subsidize an ex-wife, how the hell would you then feel about subsidizing a complete stranger who is just too lazy to go to work? I actually cannot wrap my head around that. How someone can say I'm MGTOW, but I'm in favor of massive redistribution of income. I mean, how can you say that you go your own way when you force the taxpayer to fund your lifestyle? To me, that's not going your own way. That's like a single mother who's on welfare claiming that she's a strong, independent woman. I would call bullshit on that. So tell me if I'm wrong, but I would say a MGTOW must be either a libertarian or a conservative, or he must be somewhere in favor of low taxes and limited government. So from my perspective, I think there is no amount of mental gymnastics that can philosophically unite MGTOW and socialism. Once again, I mean, if you have an explanation, I'm really eager to listen. This is no bullshit. If you identify as a socialist and a MGTOW, I would really be very much interested in understanding your point of view. I'm not trying to clown you or troll you. This is really just innate interest and curiosity. So I looked actually at a website from the German government where they list the federal budget of the Federal Republic of Germany. And as you can see here, this green amount here is like over 40%. This is actually social spending. So we in Germany, we spend the biggest chunk of our spending actually goes to single mothers, to immigrants, to unemployed people, and so on. And our economy is booming. And yeah, you can be unemployed, but most people, they just don't want to move to another city or something. I mean, there are still areas in Germany where there are plenty of jobs available. And I'm not saying it's easy to find a job, but I mean, most of this money, I would say, go to what I would be calling undeserving poor. People who never paid into the system, people who just don't want to work, people or like single mothers who just get some kids and then expect the government and, well, actually the taxpayer to take care of them. So the notion that Western states would spend more on military or more on other things than social spending is actually preposterous. And maybe in the States it's not the biggest chunk, but the state still has a lot of social programs. It might not be as much as we have here in Central Europe, but still, I mean, a lot of social spending going on there. And to say that the West is really capitalist and it's like a shark tank, I really can't see that. So what I naturally understand really well is women being in favor of socialism and men being in favor of competition and free markets. However, what I cannot really understand is these weak men who are also in favor of socialism instead of competing. Maybe they are the sons of single mothers, I don't know. But just for the sake of completeness, I have to say that in the company where I work, there are some women who really do an excellent job as engineers, planners in logistics and in sales and whatnot. I mean, they work the same amount of hours as me, they make the same money as me, and they work really hard. And I have nothing but respect for these women. The funny thing is though, when you talk to these women, they actually display the same leanings as me when it comes to politics and when it comes to economics. They are not in favor of the welfare state. Isn't that a surprise? So maybe it's not something in your brain chemistry or something hormonal or something genetic. Maybe it is really just the role that you play in society. I mean, all these celebrity women lately who have to pay these huge amounts of alimony to their ex-husbands, I don't think that they're in favor of alimony if you ask them. They would say, oh, this system is fucked up. I mean, we should change that. Alimony is just too much. And all these women who also get, just like me in Germany here, hit with the maximum tax rate, they also say that we have too much redistribution of income. Isn't that funny, huh? So maybe it just comes down to what role you play. And these mangina men who are basically like women who are not really masculine, yeah, they're in favor of socialism because they want a free lunch. They want to be taken care of, just like a single mommy. So let me know what you think about that, and I hope I didn't step too hard on anyone's toes. I really don't mean to be nasty or mean, but this is where I stand on this. So thanks for stopping by. Hope to catch you guys again soon, and have a good day. Servus Kameraden. That's repetitive.